Right.
Let me tell you about my family.
Hey, here we go now, it's bedtime again. Let's take a look and see what's happening. Roller coaster ride, no surprise. It's life with Louie, Louie, Louie. Life with Louie, Louie, Louie. It's life with likable, lovable, completely huggable. It's life with Louie.
When Principal Holleran made a visit to our classroom, it usually meant one of two things. Either Glen had been caught mixing pencil shavings into the cafeteria food again, or we were having a substitute.
Mr. Lambert will not be here this week. Now I want everyone on their best behavior for Miss Robertson.
Hello. Top of the morning to you, class.
I see we'll have to have a little chat about the dress code.
Let's say we begin by introducing ourselves, shall we? I'm Miss Robertson, and you are?
Drooling.
My, aren't we the studious one?
That's me, Mr. Studious.
Oh, brother. You really are stuck on her, aren't you, Mr. Studious?
Why would you say that?
Because you just put all of your books in my locker.
They were lonely.
Oh, shovel 1, shovel 2, shovel 3, save us from the communists. All 600. Time to hit the showers.
Rubby-dubby, morning is the greatest time
Who's in here?
Top of the morning, Dad.
Really? Aren't you the one I have to yank out of bed every morning?
That was the old Louie, Dad.
Is that so?
Natural scent. I thought the idea was to get rid of the natural scent.
My goodness, you look handsome this morning, Louie. Is it class picture day?
Jeez. I drag a comb through my hair and suddenly it has to be class picture day?
You'll have to change out of those fancy duds after school because we've got a project to finish.
Oh, good. You're finally taking down Mrs. Stoneman's Christmas lights?
Yeah, right.
Andy.
Louie, I need your help with my bomb shelter. Besides, you're the oldest.
Well, Danny's the oldest. Why don't you ask him?
Oh, yeah, sure, Dad. I'll be right there to help you. Have fun.
Need I say more?
You know, Andy, that dirt hole in the yard has become a real eyesore.
Why don't we just fill it with water and have a pool party?
In my bomb shelter, next thing you know, you'll want to be swimming with the enemy.
And another thing, I don't see how we're going to squeeze all our neighbors in there, Andy. We can't just leave them out, you know.
Why not? They didn't invite me to their canasta tournament.
Their loss, huh, Dad?
Well, besides, if the unspeakable happens, there's strength in numbers.
I think you got something there, Hora.
Gracious me, you're here early? Crumpet?
I'm more of a donut man myself, but I'll give it a shot.
It was a perfect moment. Just me, a crumpet, and the woman of my dreams.
Morning, Miss Robertson.
Oh, thank you, Michael. That's quite thoughtful.
I thought so.
Hey, those are my mom's petunias.
The flower shop was out of my way.
It's one of my dad's formaldehyde jars. He's a pathologist, you know.
Oh, how unusual. But let's put it here for safekeeping. We wouldn't want it to break.
Well, that'd be a heartbreaker.
It's origami. I made it from a Night Sniffer comic.
Hey, that's the one I loaned you.
Obviously, I wasn't the only one trying to impress Miss Robertson.
It's two-ply.
Thank you. This morning I'd like to introduce you to a very special author. His name is William Shakespeare, and he wrote some of the world's most beautiful stories.
No, not him. Huh.
Can anyone name one of them?
There's the one about the guy and, other guy.
Oh, you must mean Two Gentlemen of Verona. Well done, Louie.
Even though I didn't know the answer, I didn't feel silly. Miss Robertson had a way of making me feel special. I imagine she had the same effect on the other boys.
I love daisies.
Nice day for a ride, huh?
Louie, Louie, wherefore art thou, Louie?
Oh, this is a rough gig.
Louie, Louie. Louie, are you with us?
Oh, yeah. Just gotta tie my shoe.
You weenie!
let Grunwald bring her flowers, and Scott, formaldehyde jars. I was going to learn Shakespeare and be Miss Robertson's star.
Left, 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 right, left. Can hot about face. Jeez, if you men were in the trenches, we'd have never finished that bridge over the River Kwai.
How about a break, man? These bricks are heavy.
Sorry, Gus. Flanagan was all out of styrofoam bricks.
Hey, Anderson, what are you doing? Burying a bone?
Very funny, Jensen. That's exactly what'll be left of you when the big one hits. Meanwhile, we'll be sitting pretty in our temperature-controlled, radiation-proof, airtight bomb shelter. Oil! I struck oil! I'm red! I'm red!
Right might be a more appropriate description, Anderson.
After Dad's brief career as an oil tycoon, the busted sewer pipe forced him to venture into plumbing. And since any trip to the hardware store was considered part of my formal education, I was recruited.
Hey, Andy! How's your bomb shelter coming along?
I drafted some of the neighbors. We'll have it finished in no time.
Take a gander at my baby. Walnut paneling, track lighting, sauna. I'm thinking of moving in.
Hey, Mr. Flanagan, got any Shakespeare around here?
Shakespeare? You're not into that, too. My oldest has them teaching that nonsense down at the Cedar Knoll Military Academy.
But I thought he was a military man.
He is. He runs the joint.
So what's with the Shakespeare?
Well, that's what I keep asking him. Those kids should be learning something useful, like caulking, riveting, or grommeting.
Oh, yeah. Grommeting. There's a skill you can apply every day. What a piece of work is man. How noble in.
Speaking of work, are you gonna help the old man with the shelter later?
Tomorrow, tomorrow, and tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, today.
Thy enemy's wrath shall wait, my father, for I must tend to issues present.
I had an easier time understanding the Germans in Salerno. Who's teaching him this garbage anyway?
Why, the fair maiden, Miss Robertson.
For crying out loud, she ought to be teaching him the 4 R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic, and reconnaissance.
I believe it's the 3 R's, Andy.
What? She took away one of the R's?
Questions, anyone?
Why didn't Shakespeare give anyone a normal name like Bob or Phil or Ted or Cindy?
Splendid question, Louie. Well, I believe Romeo and Juliet is a more romantic title than Bob and Juliet. I'm glad to see you're taking such an interest in your reading.
This Shakespeare stuff isn't so hard. How's this? Something's rotten in the state of Denmark. And I think it's...
Thank you for that interesting interpretation. Can anyone help Mr. Glenn out?
Something's rotten in the state of Denmark. Heaven will direct it.
Very impressive, Louis. For your exceptional knowledge of Shakespeare, I crown you King Louis Lear. There, perfect fit.
Things couldn't have been any better. Until...
Come on, troops. Move it, move it, move it.
Really necessary, Andy?
Move what? Where?
This is an air raid, Private. Move your tail to the shelter. Double time. Pitiful, just pitiful. Officially, we're all goners.
Good. Maybe now we can all rest in peace.
All right, everybody, spread out. Come on now. Come on, give me some elbow room.
You man, close your legs.
Move out of the way.
Move it, Buffalo!
I thought this shelter was supposed to protect us from the enemy.
Hey, I sweated like a pig building this place, and what, I can't even get a seat?
There's no room for my in-laws.
This isn't a hotel, Grunwald. It's a bomb shelter.
Well, I'm not telling my mother-in-law to leave. Talk about World War III.
Hey, what about my family?
All right already. Hold it down.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend him your ears.
Lend 'em? What?
What is he talking about?
What the kid's trying to say is that we need a system. You know, families with the last names A through M have the shelter Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And N through Z the other days.
Oh, good idea, Louie.
Smart kid you got there, Andy.
Yeah, he's a real gem.
Cookies, anyone?
Oh, yeah, cookies. That's a great idea. Exactly how we did it in Normandy.
Come, Father. Yon breakfast awaits.
Well, you sure are chipper this morning. Huh.
I'm a morning person now.
Really? I'll be sure to let the enemy know so they can bomb us anytime after dawn.
Hey, Dad, where are all your helpers?
After last night's little milk and cookie party, we decided it's every man for himself.
So much for strength and numbers.
Well, you and I make 2, and that's all the numbers I need.
Sorry, Dad, I'm busy. I gotta finish my oatmeal. And after that, I gotta brush up on my Shakespeare.
Does Shakespeare keep a roof over your head and food on the table? Does Shakespeare pay your allowance?
But, Dad, I'm in the middle of King Henry IV.
Well, around here, I'm the king. And King Andy the First says he needs help.
Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
And that means?
It means go easy on your kids, or they'll take over your kingdom.
That's mutiny. Who's teaching you this track? Aura! My back!
Wow, this is a surprise, huh? I haven't seen you in, what, 2 whole hours?
I didn't do it, I swear!
You know the routine.
I'm telling you, she's teaching a mutiny.
I hardly think Shakespeare.
It's chaos. A man can't run a family unit like that.
Mr. Anderson, a family is a group of people living together to offer one another love, support, and understanding. Not an elite tactical squadron.
Well, I say she's filling his head with all sorts of ideas. And it's your job to get rid of her.
Huh. Excuse me, nature calls.
Hello, Mr. Anderson. Let me start by saying how much I enjoy having Louie in my class.
So you can brainwash him with all that Shakespeare propaganda?
Shakespeare's plays are hardly...
Don't get me wrong. I'm for higher learning as much as the next guy. But not when it interferes with national security.
National security?
He's got no respect for who's boss, and it ain't going over too good with me.
Ain't is not a word, Mr. Anderson.
What do you know anyway? You're a principal, not a teacher.
You sound exactly like my father. You must be a military man.
Fighting 5th Regiment, and proud of it.
Then I was an army brat myself. Father was a full-bird colonel.
Well, I'll bet my Purple Heart 4 citations and 3 traffic violations that he doesn't go for this Shakespeare stuff either.
On the contrary, Mr. A, he's a big fan. Especially Richard III and Henry V, Macbeth. Anything with a sword and a battlefield or two.
Shakespeare wrote about war? Huh. Was he a Marine or something?
Not exactly, but you'd have a hard time finding an author who wrote about war as vividly as William Shakespeare. You know, a horse, my kingdom for a horse.
Horse? Why didn't he just use a tank?
They didn't have tanks in those days, just bows, arrows, and the occasional cannon.
You call that warfare? Let me tell you about the time I single-handedly tracked down 80 regiments of Germans.
Hey, over here. Hey, Louie's dad is a Benedict Arnold.
You're okay, Army brat.
Oh, you're a scream.
Any chance of getting you to replace Holler in here?
Excuse me?
I know. These crumpets keep coming up on me, too. Excuse me. So what about it? How about giving Miss Robertson a full-time job?
I'm sorry, Mr. Anderson, but we just can't afford it.
Holler in here is just a little, well, how would the Bard put this? Oh, yeah, cheap!
I never...
But I know someone who might be able to use you full-time. Make some real dough, huh?
That would be smashing.
My pal's son runs the Cedar Knoll Military Academy. Would that interest you?
Would it? I love men in uniform.
Let me see what I can do.
Here's to you, Mr. Anderson.
Now, here's to you, Miss Robertson.
Please.
Oh, come on, I hate him.
He's back.
Him.
Well, it's nice to see you, too.
What are you doing here?
Good news. I passed my stone.
Where's Miss Robertson?
She's moved on. Now, let's open our math books and begin.
Yeah, Louie, way to go. What were you thinking?
Jeez, what'd I do?
Monkey bars, 3:30, and don't be late.
No! I'll set my watch.
It's noogie time!
Leave him alone.
Why should I? King Loogie here got Miss Robertson fired!
I did not.
Why would Louie do a thing like that? He worshipped her.
I may have hung on every word she said, but I did not worship her.
Well, I heard his dad tell Mrs. Halloran he wanted her executed.
He did not. Executed?
Well, fired. I was standing right outside her office. I heard the whole thing.
Good enough, Glenn.
Escaping the jaws of death!
Miss Robertson, you came back.
Well, just to get my belongings.
So you are leaving?
Oh, I don't want to. But they've offered me a full-time job at the military academy.
Great! That's where I'm going when I get out of this place.
Of course, you'll be 21 by then.
Where's my little Romeo?
Musclehead here chased him off.
What's the matter, Louie?
Dad got Miss Robertson fired.
He what?
Hey, Sport, how was school today? What's the matter? The cat got your tongue?
That too, brute.
Hey! What do you call me names for? What do you call me?
You got my favorite teacher fired.
Your father did no such thing, did you?
I like to think of it as guiding her career.
I knew it. You ruined my life. Who's gonna teach me Shakespeare now?
Wow, that kid really loves his Shakespeare.
It's not Shakespeare he loves. You know, Louie, everyone gets a crush on a teacher at least once in their lives.
I don't have a crush on her.
It's hard when someone you like so much has to go away, isn't it?
Why couldn't Mr. Lambert be the one who got fired? I can't be Romeo if he's Juliet.
I remember when my favorite art teacher left. I thought I would never enjoy life drawing again. But after a short time, I noticed my drawings became richer and more complicated.
And this somehow relates to me?
The truth is, I remembered what he taught me long after he was gone.
And Mom, the point is?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Shakespeare became your favorite author.
Even without Miss Robertson?
Because of Miss Robertson.
Hello, Mr. A. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing there, Army Brat?
How's your shelter coming along? You'd love my dad's.
Miss Robertson, I'm sorry my dad got you fired.
Your dad give me the old heave-ho? Blimey, not at all.
He didn't?
No, he got me hired at the academy, full-time and everything.
But I thought...
Oh, no, Louie. Mr. Lambert was coming back as soon as he got well anyway. Your dad has been a great help to me.
My dad?
I hope you're going to keep reading Shakespeare.
No, I don't know. Sometimes he's a little hard to understand.
I'll tell you what. Anytime you get stuck, you just come round the academy and we'll figure it out together. How's that?
You mean it?
Absolutely. Toss me in the Thames if I don't. Here.
To my favorite king, Louis the First. Whoa! Thanks, Miss Robertson.
You're welcome, Louie. And thanks again to you, Mr. A.
So long, Brat. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
That I shall say goodnight till it be morrow. Not bad, Mr. A. Ta-ta for now.
You've been reading Shakespeare.
Sure, I thought any fellow who wrote a book about war was worth taking a peek at.
Sorry, Dad. I should have known you wouldn't have done anything to hurt Miss Robertson.
She's a real peach. Makes pretty weak coffee, though. So, you ready to help the old man with the shelter?
Well, Dad, I was kind of thinking.
We can go down to the donut shop after.
There's a wise father who knows his own child.
You got that right, kid.
Dad and I finished the bomb shelter that afternoon. There's nothing like a good incentive. Thankfully, we never had to use it. In fact, 2 weeks later, we turned it into a pool.
Andy, my pool's clean.
When thou diggest in thine own backyard, yon hole is always best suited for a swimming pool. And that's not Shakespeare. That's Louis Anderson.
Knock off the horseplay! We're crying out loud. Cora! You're not listening to Time to hit the shark. What are you trying to do, burn me? Hey, that feels pretty good.